A couple weeks ago, I was driving and I had like a good hour between destinations,
Right.
And it's like, well, there's a rest stop coming up here. I was feeling like really like uncomfortable. I was like, I had just kind of moved something heavy earlier, and I was like, do I have like lower back pain? Did I mess up my back, or do I just have like bad gas? Like, what's going on with this thing? And then so I go past the rest stop, and then I immediately regretted it.
Oh no.
And I was like, okay, I'm just going to power through. I don't feel the need to like stop at Quick Trip or whatever gas station. I'm just going to power through and wait the additional 45 minutes. And with about 20 minutes left in my drive, I was contemplating. I wasn't thinking this seriously through, but it was the first time I thought about, like, what would I do if it ever got worse than what it was? And I thought, yeah, I could seriously just go ahead and soil my pants while driving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to relieve that pain. And eventually, I get out of the car, and I'm like hunched over, like just old up used man. And turns out, Kate, it was not I did not mess up my back. It's just so that means, I was able to get over that pretty quick without getting into too much more detail. But it was the first time in my life I've ever had like gas pain that was just excruciating,
It can be so terrible I know both of our girls have had problems with it. I have had problems with it since having our girls. I've never had gas cramps like I do now, but Matt, I keep clean underwear in my car for every member of our family. I keep baby wipes in the car for every member of our family because we were so used to driving longer distances and rural distances where there's not a Quick Trip. There's not, like, you just gotta try it as best as you can to get where you're going. But I have had moments where I'm driving. It's like, if I get pulled over for speeding, I'm going to have to tell the cop that I pooped my pants because here it is. I am trying to get where I'm going so I can get to a bathroom. And I wonder how many police officers have heard that, like, I wasn't speeding. I just got to go to the bathroom.
I feel like they have to have heard that a decent bit.
Right.
And I'm also curious, like, if you're wanting to speed, if you're running late, you're like, well, I got one in the chamber. This might come in handy in case I get pulled over. And then you can just intentionally soil yourself once the cops pull you over.
I told you I had to go.
Right. Yep. And then they were like, oh my gosh, yeah, you did. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this will only take a minute while I write your ticket. Yeah.
You don't think the cop would have mercy on you if he pulled you over and it turns out you did indeed?
I would hope so.
Fill your pants?
I would hope so. I would hope so. And I wish that we weren't talking on the radio right now because I have some really good stories that I don't know if I should share or not.
Oh.
My friends are all like, yeah, we know, girl. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's reasons why I keep underwear for not just the children in the car. And, Matt, if I had $5 for pairs of underwear that I've left on the side of I-70, I'd have like $15.
Okay.
See? Too far.
No, that was the right length. I mean, you stopped yourself from getting into further detail.
Okay.
That was the right distance.
But gas cramps, they're the worst.
Yeah, it was, and like I said, it was not even close to anything I've ever felt before. Like, I think I've just been fortunate to not be someone that's had, like, painful gas before.
Yeah.
And I think basically I had to successfly cook some black beans, I think, the night before. You know what I mean?
I
ate too many of those. They were too tasty.
As many beans as you do, you'd think you'd be pretty good. But okay, so I did learn this. If you're at home, this isn't going to help you when you're driving. But if you're at home and you have gas cramps, you know how babies sleep on their tummies, but they've got their butt in the air?
Okay.
It's like you've got your cheek on, put your cheek on the mattress and lay on your tummy, but put your butt in the air.
Yeah.
The gas will rise to help your gas cramps. But if you're driving, that doesn't help you at all. Just lift a cheek if you're driving.
That is a pretty dangerous way to drive.
Yeah.
Because then you got to use like your hands on the gas and brake, and you got to use like your neck to drive, and then you clearly can't see what's going on.
To be clear, we are not suggesting that you drive that way.
Right.
For gas cramps or not. That is not a endorsed.
Yeah, unless it's a simulation or something, if you're at an arcade, maybe in the after times.
In the after times at Dave & Buster's? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
There you go.
In the after times
at Dave
I can't
& Buster's.
wait to get to. I can't wait for the after times, Matt. I can't wait. But there are people in the current times at Dave & Buster's. So.
Is that right?
I did see. Yeah, people are going. My youngest got invited to a birthday party at Dave & Buster's, and I had to politely say, "Sorry, we can't make it. I don't want to be at Dave & Buster's."
Do they block off certain machines, or?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I just figure Dave & Buster's is probably not a place. I just can't picture social distancing at Dave & Buster's and touching everything and it staying as clean as it should be. And we're not really going to restaurants in general, so I don't know. We're doing takeout. We're still doing a lot of takeout.
Yeah, I've gotten better at patronizing places over takeout, and then I was doing before it got a little bit too cold recently. Got some decent outdoor dining done. Dining did.
Dined outdoors.
Dined outdoors, like one does, So
like one does.
Yeah. But still, it's hard to support wait staff when you're doing takeout. Even though, you tip the people for preparing your food for takeout. We've talked about that before, so
right,
good reminder.
Right.
Like you're about to say something.
No, I was thinking, but my train got derailed.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking about all the places that we go and making sure that we tip for carry out. We tip there, and some of the places that we go, some of our small businesses that we go, they're still not having their dining room open. So it's kind of like, I'm not going to be the dining room people there, but I don't know. I just don't want people's lifelong dream and their savings and their things that they've worked so hard for to just disappear because of current times. And so we're probably eating out more than we've ever eaten out. Like during a week, we'll probably eat out twice. So
you just order takeout and grab it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, takeout. We do a lot of takeout. It feels like we'll do a couple of meals like Monday or Sunday and Monday, and do some leftovers. But usually by Thursday and Saturday, I'm like, okay, we're gonna do takeout because I'm tired of cooking. I'm tired of leftovers, or we're out of leftovers. So, but with the kids going to be home for Christmas break, Matt, and now the week after Christmas break, it's like I need to up my game as far as what do we need so I'm not going to the grocery store all the time. I want to have everything planned out. We're going to be home for Christmas and Christmas Eve. So what are some special things that we can do? And I was trying to get the girls involved. What's something that you want? And Finley wants lasagna and Elliot wants Chinese food. And I'm like, okay, let's see.
Good choices.
Right? And let's get a lot so we can eat on it for a couple of days.
Chinese lasagna, Kate.
Chinese lasagna. I've made a Mexican lasagna before. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I could see that. Chinese lasagna, though. How would you do that? You could do what, cream cheese in there?
Yeah, I don't know. How would you do that?
A crab rangoonish inspired lasagna or something? I don't know.
And I was trying, do you do the chicken or do you do the beef? Or what's your go-to for Chinese, Matt? What do you like?
God, I haven't had Chinese in a very long time. It's that's tough to say because there's so many different stages of Chinese food. I feel like there's 5 different stages of appetizer-like items,
Okay.
But typically it's going to be a rice type of thing, probably, if you're thinking a main deal with probably chicken. Yeah.
Chicken. But do you do a spicy chicken? Do you do a general what do you do?
Yeah, it's almost boring how I know this seems counter to the word, but I'm almost boring with how much I default to spicy on like everything, you know?
I'm glad you pointed that out about the boring spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think spicy is boring, but if you think...
I think it can be if that's all you're doing, you know, like if I'm not doing any of the sweet stuff.
I don't do the sweet stuff. I can't do the sweet stuff.
And I just wonder sometimes if I'm not being adventurous enough, you know?
Yeah.
Even though, once again, spicy for many people is the complete opposite of boring.
Right.
And it's an adventure they would never want to go on again. But for me, I feel like that's so much my default. It's just like I can't get it spicy enough.
That's what I was going to tell you. I feel like I can't get like Chinese food spicy enough. And for years, I was terrified that it was going to be too spicy and I was going to waste a meal because I couldn't handle it. And now it's like every time we go to someplace new, I'm like, oh yeah, how spicy is spicy? And they're like, you want us to make it spicier? I'm like, yeah, I do. And then we bring it home like, that is not spicy at all, people. Come on. Yeah. But I also I have not gotten crazy and tried like a spicy I'm not a mustard person. So I haven't tried like anything with spicy mustard. I'm more of like a spicy Hunan beef, I guess, or with vegetables. I don't know. But Mexican food sometimes scares me when they talk about spicy. I'm like, all right, I'll try a little off your plate. I don't know if I can get my own.
Yeah, I know I told you about the Mexican place in Junction City that had the dangerous dollar margaritas.
Mm-hmm.
That same place had an off-menu spicy salsa you could get.
Yeah.
And I don't think I told this story before, but when it was some weekday or whatever out there, I went out to lunch with Justin, who was our night guy at the time.
Right.
And we both were really into that spicy salsa. And then that night, he needed to use the restroom. And so he went to this place. It was like almost like a split level house at that studio out in Junction City.
Okay. And
so there was an upstairs bathroom and a downstairs bathroom. Upstairs typically for like the sales staff and office staff and whatnot. And so there was one other guy in the building who was in, the AM station studio that night, like running a Royals game or something like that. And so while Justin is upstairs using that restroom, Michael, the guy downstairs, is like, well, I guess he thought he was leaving for the night and was leaving the building empty. And he yelled out, Jason, got the kid's name completely wrong a couple times,
right.
Yelling, and he was, up on the can and being like, Well, he had like taken his shirt off. He was having such a spicy time of it. Up there.
Oh, spicy time of it.
So the dude apparently arms the alarm and walks out the building, right? Well, once he gets to the parking lot, he sees that Justin's car is still there and it's like, oh. And so he turns around and comes back in at like that magical time of setting an alarm where he like basically couldn't get it to disarm. And then he left. He just took off. While Justin is still up on the can, and then hears the alarm start going off, so he's got to hurry up and finish his business and run downstairs to turn the alarm off and be ready potentially to answer the phone, if the alarm company called.
Right.
So, anyway, that's a pretty funny spicy salsa story.
And he's got to put his shirt back on.
Right.
Takes his shirt off. Oh,
yeah.
My gosh.
He was on fire,
He was on fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty funny.
I mean, I took Percocet one time and my skin was on fire. I was all itchy and had to get naked because I was so hot, but that was Percocet and not jalapenos.
Right, yeah, so this would have been like 8 hours after consumption or something like that, probably.
Oh my gosh.
Because if this was that late at night, it would have had to been like 11 o'clock at night, so maybe even later than that, really working its way through his system, so...
Oh, man.
Heating back up on the back end, But yeah, it's really good spicy salsa out there. I'm not sure if that place is still open or not.
There's a tomatillo salsa that we discovered in Kansas at our favorite Mexican restaurant. And we'd been going there for years. And it was probably about a year before we moved that I discovered it. I was like, okay, I'm just going to order something different. and it came on the side. And I was like, where has this been hiding from me? And they're like, it's been on the menu since we opened. So I daydream about that tomatillo salsa that like you're eating it and you've got to put a little sour cream on there so it doesn't burn as much, but then you like dunk it just a little bit more in the salsa and then your nose is running but yeah, burns on the back end for sure.
Yeah, you're clearing out every orifice, your nose,
everything,
so.
Which would normally say that doesn't make me want to eat that, but now I'm like, I think we're gonna have Mexican tonight.
So if one really wants to be adventurous, just always order the special. You know?
Oh, I don't know.
And some places always will have multiple specials, but
right.
You don't know.
Sometimes I just don't think I'm that adventurous. I like what I like, and every now and then I'm like, I'll try something new, but I'm not as adventurous, I guess.
Oh, good old food. So yeah, you're
old food.
So planning Christmas. This is Christmas dinner that you're talking about wanting.
Yeah, we're going to be home. Let's have Monty's going to be fresh out of his colonoscopy. Let's have some good foods.
Yeah, Monty, whose colonoscopy is Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
the morning of, right? That morning, Christmas Eve morning.
Yeah. Yep. So he will be ready.
Fa la 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 la.
Fa la la. Yeah. But he also wants to take the girls up to the house on Christmas morning.
Okay, to go look at the general state of the home build.
Yeah, so we've got a key to the house now, so we can go inside. And as of last weekend, they hadn't started mudding yet. They had cleaned up everything. They had sheetrocked everything, but they hadn't started mudding the sheetrock yet.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm laughing because you say mudding, and I think about how people take vehicles through muddy areas, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm picturing these construction workers just in their various different vehicles, just, you know, doing donuts in your yard. Sorry, go on. So you're good. They're mudding at your house.
They haven't started mudding yet.
Okay.
But it's funny that you think that because behind us is a hole. The house next to us is no longer a hole. They have framed it and it is up. And then the house that's behind, it's not directly behind us. It's directly behind our neighbors. They sold that lot. So that's a ginormous hole with a ginormous pile of dirt so that you probably could go mudding there if, you know.
So how many holes you got? Is that the same hole or is that a different hole?
No, that's a different hole.
A new hole.
They've got but I don't think that's our building company. I think that's another builder.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the lot behind us is still open.
So you're thinking you guys go... I didn't realize that you even had I didn't even think that you had a door that locked, that you could have access to go in and do... What could you do inside there on Christmas Day?
Well, that's what Monty thought maybe if we brought a couple of presents up there, or maybe if Santa delivered something so that Santa could say, hey, this is where I'm going to come next year. I know that this is your house, kind of something sweet. But there's no electricity, Matt. It's cold. We were there over the weekend and we're all bundled up and we were there for 20 minutes and my toes were, I was like, okay, are we done now? Did you see what you needed to see? Are we good? But I think he thinks just something to, A, we can go see the house, and B, it'll be something to do on Christmas Day, if that makes sense. But yeah, because we're not going anywhere. It's just going to be the four of us hanging out.
Yeah, I started trying to think like, what would you do? What could one do on Christmas Day? Go out and about. And it's like, yeah, I guess, I don't know.
As far as Christmassy activities, we used to go and drive around and look at Christmas lights. So I think we're going to try to do that this weekend. Maybe get some hot chocolates and load up in the car and go drive around. But as far as like Christmas Day, yeah, no plans. So we talked about going to the house and we don't have to go in the morning. We could go later that afternoon, kind of break up the day a little bit. But I foresee a lot of eating and drinking and napping on Christmas. So
yeah, that's a good time. Yeah. Man, I personally find Christmas to be neck and neck with Thanksgiving as far as a good napping day.
Yeah.
Because you're not gorging as much as you might be on Thanksgiving.
No.
But there's just something about that day. Maybe it's because it's a little bit cooler, potentially.
I was going to say, Thanksgiving, I don't ever get to nap. So Christmas, I get to... Thanksgiving feels busier because I'm usually in the kitchen and getting stuff and helping and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about I have a neighbor who's overachieving the neighborhood with his Christmas lights?
No.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bummer because at first I thought his lights might have broken because they were pretty epic, lighting up a bunch of trees and also multiple roof lines. It was pretty impressive. And then... I was driving to work one morning and leaving the neighborhood, and I was like, "Oh man, he must have lost a circuit or something." And then I started noticing a pattern, and that is that clearly he's got a set of them on a timer. And so I can only really enjoy his Christmas lights at night. It's a good argument it's like, hey, for us morning radio DJs, we like to see Christmas lights too. I know many people have them turn off.
What?
Have them turn off at like 11 o'clock or something, but hey, have them go all night. Those LEDs, they don't use that much power. So anyway, the good news is his lights aren't broken. The bad news is I can only enjoy the Christmas display if I think to leave my home after the sun's down.
Yeah.
And we all know how trying that can be for me at times.
We all know. We all know that you are a homebody.
Even in before times.
Yes.
In before times. Not ridiculously so. I'm not
I don't think so.
Scared of people, but...
Not scared of people. No.
In fact, I do quite well in the general public once I'm out in there.
Good, Matt. Good.
Maybe shocking to hear that, but
No, it just sounds like you're like if you had to follow a program. Like, I did really good today. I did my 5 steps and I was good with people. We talked about on Christmas how it's mostly going to be like a snacking and drinking and napping day. I did find good news about that because a study from Iowa State revealed that regularly eating cheese and drinking wine, particularly red wine, may help reduce cognitive decline as you age, Matt, and it could help prevent Alzheimer's. So,
look at that. So you have a block of Velveeta and a box of wine waiting for you Christmas Day, Kate?
Cheddar Jack instead of Velveeta.
Okay.
Because the Velveeta is going to go into the casserole dish with a can of Rotel, probably.
I thought you were going to say Velveeta goes into the not cheese category of cheeses.
Oh, Velveeta. I wish I did not love queso, but I love queso. So I purchased Velveeta.
It's hard to make liquid cheese with stuff that actually is cheese.
Right.
So, yep.
Right.
The only way to make liquid cheese is to use something that is not cheese.
We buy Velveeta shells and cheese, like the little individual cups. Instead of mac and cheese, it's shells and cheese.
Yeah, and you got instead of using powder, you've got the packet of ooze or whatever.
Right.
That's my preferred mode, too. Back in the day, I used to be all about those little individual servings.
Well, over the weekend, Monty made a crock pot with little cocktail weenies.
Okay.
The girls like those little cocktail weenies, and Elliot was like, ooh, I think I want you to make... mac and cheese, Dad, but I want you to make it. And he was like, okay, do we have Velveeta? I'm like, we've got Velveeta, but we've got those little cups of shells and cheese. And he's like, okay, I can make it. And Elliot's like, it's so much better when you make it, Dad. I'm like, you're such a sucker. Like, it's right there. She can make it herself, or she can say, Daddy, please make it. And he made it.
See?
He's such a good daddy.
Yeah, I still have my, my moments if I end up at my parents' house where my mom will ask me if she can cook me an omelet or something like that. And I'm like, hell yeah, you can.
Get it, Mom.
And it's like, you're perfectly capable of making that food yourself. And it's like, well, first off, no, I can't flip an omelet like she can.
No.
It's not made with the same amount of care,
Right. It's made with extra love.
Right. Mine ends up being a scramble. Hers ends up being a a fine dining experience, frankly, with the magic. All using the same amount, all using the same ingredients, Kate. But
I was going to say, maybe next time she teaches you how to flip it. Okay. I mean, it's another thing of when you're a guest, though, too. And when you're the host, here, let me make you something.
Right.
And here's my very independent 8-year-old who's like, oh, it's so much better when Daddy does it. I'm like, I know she's asking Daddy for it because Mom would say, no, get the cup out, put water in it, put it in the microwave.
I was going to say there are fewer steps involved in making the cup of processed cheese product versus an omelet from scratch. But yeah, my point still kind of stands. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get your point for sure. And as a host, if you come to my house, I'm not going to say, hey, are you hungry? There's stuff in the fridge.
Yeah, when you started talking about, so you call them like cocktail weenies. I always called those little smokies. Are those different things?
No, they're the same thing.
Okay. And then I thought you were going to start talking about potentially, you had just talked about queso not that long ago. And my mind started going to, oh yeah, you could raid your supply of Velveeta shells and cheese if you needed to have queso. Just go poach go poach the packets of cheese, you know?
You could do that. Mm-hmm. You could. Yeah. We made meatballs for the first time. Like, I don't know what got up our noggins this weekend because we had the little smokies and a cocktail sauce or whatever it's called. And then we had, we made meatballs. We've never made meatballs before because we're going to do barbecue meatballs. Uh-huh. And Monty found a recipe where it was 2 pounds of meat, a box of stuffing, and 2 eggs. And you just mix them all, and then you make your meatballs and bake them, and then you can use them for whatever. I was like, oh, that's great. So fast forward, made the meatballs. They're in the crock pot, and they've got the barbecue sauce on them after they've baked, whatever. And Monty's like, I did something wrong. I'm like, why? What's up? And he's like, it calls for a cup of stuffing mix. And you go, and you use the whole box? And he's like, yup.
How much is a whole box? How many cups?
I don't know, but these meatballs are very stuffing-y. So I don't mind them because I put, a little extra barbecue sauce on there and throw a pickle on the side, but they are not his favorite. So
I can see.
I am now eating meatballs every day this week.
Are they spicy meatballs, Kate?
They are not a spicy meatball.
See, I thought maybe you were inspired from, because we were talking about on the show. I thought maybe you were inspired to make meatballs because we were talking about them on the show, and then you did your offensive Italian-American impersonation. And
terrible Mario. Yeah.
It's me.
No. It's me. It's a meatball.
Mario number 1. He often says that at the end of a stage.
There it is.
Depending on the Mario game, yeah.
I don't know why we decided. I know he had to do something with stew meat, so he put that in we had beef and noodles. Oh. And we had barbecue meatballs, and we had little smokies and mac and cheese.
Oh my God.
And there's something, I mean, so it wasn't one meal though, Matt.
But that was all over the course of a weekend, or?
Yeah, on a Sunday.
That's still pretty impressive for one day. I don't know, maybe not.
So the girls had the little smokies and mac and cheese for lunch. I had a meatball or 2 in the afternoon, and then we had beef and noodles for dinner.
How big were these meatballs? Like golf ball size, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
About there. Maybe a smidge. I know they were bigger when we put it to bake. So when they bake down, probably about golf ball size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did I need to know that? I don't know.
I feel like that was a good question.
Okay.
Maybe I should have supplied that answer.
Softball sized.
Yeah, right. See, if we're going to do meatballs for spaghetti, I want to try the meatballs with cheese in the middle, where you take string cheese.
Oh.
And you cut off a little smidge of string cheese, and then you put it in the middle of your meatballs so that when you have your meatballs all in your sauce and on your spaghetti. You cut into it, and there's your melty cheese.
I'd never guessed such a thing would exist.
Yeah, I want to try that.
Huh. That does sound good. Curious why I haven't seen such a thing. Is it hard to maintain the integrity of a meatball with a thing of cheese inside it or something?
I don't know. I
Seems
see it
like
all over
something-
Pinterest. So
See, I'm failing to use Pinterest again.
Pinterest, I've been on Pinterest more in the last 6 months than I've been on probably in 5 years. Between building a house and trying to figure out things to do during a pandemic and things to cook and I don't know, just another something to scroll while I can't sleep. But Pinterest can be a big old wormhole for me sometimes.
Oh, the scrolling while one can't sleep. What a trap.
It's dumb. It's dumb. I know better too, Matt. I know better. But last night I had such a hard time.
What about an analog book? You know?
An analog book?
I know how you don't like to have physical books taking up space in the house or in the apartment, but
Just the children. I love books.
a book that's not on your phone, because there is something to be said for the fact that you can't be tempted away to an app, you know?
Correct.
And also
Correct.
you don't have that blue light or whatever into your eyes, whether that's a thing or not. You be the judge, listener, but yeah, I don't know. And I've also seen suggestions to have a dedicated reading device instead, like buy one of those cheap Kindles and don't allow if it's one of the Fires, don't let yourself install any apps on it. Just only let it have like video player and books, things that you can only do passively, basically passive entertainment, not scrolling through headlines or. Although Pinterest, that's pretty chill. That's pretty zen situation overall.
For some people, it gets in my brain where I'm like, oh, do I need to do this? I should do this. When am I going to do this? I need to be better at doing things like this. Yeah. Sometimes it's pretty zen, like you're saying, and sometimes it's like, gosh, Kate, get your life together. Why didn't you already know this stuff? Why don't you do this stuff every day? And I'm like, who's got time?
Pinterest is knowledge shaming you?
Maybe not knowledge. Yeah, maybe knowledge shaming, mom shaming, maid shaming. I don't know.
Kink shaming, Kate?
Again, Matt, that comes flying out of your mouth so fast.
Well, we were talking about shaming, you know, and that's
yes, that's the shame that you go for.
Yeah, kink shaming is a key part of the show, you know.
Oh gosh,
much like talking about, it's right up there with our other things.
Our other things, McDonald's.
McDonald's. Thank you. It's up there with McDonald's.
I don't think we talk about kink shaming as much as we talk about McDonald's, which we haven't talked about McDonald's in a long time.
There's lots of overlap there too.
For people who never go to McDonald's, or I never eat. I mean, I never eat McDonald's, and I go there a lot, and I talk about McDonald's a lot.
Yeah, I too aspire to eat more McDonald's, but you know,
McDonald's,
it's good stuff. Egg McMuffin, Kate.
It's been a while.
Egg McMuffin.
I'm loving it.
Egg McMuffin, Kate.
I know.
So good.
It is. It really is.
Anyway, McDonald's, you can feel free to approach us with endorsement opportunities, or you could say, why would we do that when we're getting it for free? And I wouldn't blame you. So, whatever.
Would not.
Whatever. Just give me a Egg Mac each day. Egg Mac.
Can you take credit for that?
No, I believe that's something I learned when I worked at McDonald's. You know, I think Shannon, who was the manager there at the time, was probably the one that I first heard saying, like, I need an Egg Mac. You know.
Does it come with a special sauce?
No, you're just saying Egg Mac instead of Egg McMuffin, just to save time.
Okay.
Because it's McDonald's drive-thru, Kate. You got to keep moving. There's no time for additional syllables.
I know, but like a Big Mac, an Egg Mac could have, you know, some of the special sauce on there, like an off-menu item.
That's not a bad idea. That probably would be worth trying.
I mean, just throwing that out there.
Yeah. So yeah, if I'm not gonna do, I always feel weird. I mean, this isn't gonna come as no surprise to anyone who listens with any regularity that I am too socially awkward to go off menu. But you know,
that's funny. Not gonna go off menu. What do you think I am?
Some normal person.
I mean, if it was supposed to be ordered, it'd be on the menu,
right? Well, plus you don't want to be fooled, you know, like, so you fell for that joke? No, that off-menu item does not exist.
That's not there.
Yeah. No, okay. So you guys don't have meatloaf here?
No McMeatloafs? No? Okay. I was going to say, there's a chicken place that they have an off-menu item that I want to order it, but I'm afraid for that reason. That's like, you are so gullible. There's no such thing. It's the naked chicken.
Oh.
It's like, instead of being the crispy chicken, it's a grilled chicken. But I've yet to try it.
What chicken joint is this?
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
Raising Cane's.
I don't think so. I have had to step away a couple of seconds to yawn because I cannot stop.
Because I cannot. I tried. Because this is so boring.
No, I just can't wake up. And even when I'm awake, it's like I'm going to lay here for 5 minutes. I'm not asleep. I am awake for 5 minutes, and I should be getting up and doing things. And
yeah,
I don't know if it's the winter.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I mean, because I told you that my mom got me this down comforter. I asked for this certain type of comforter that she has at her house that I always sleep with because it's like sleeping under a cloud. And so I said, will you get me a cloud blanket? And she thought that I meant a down comforter. And so she got this, and I sweat in it.
Oh, yeah.
But it is so nice, but I sweat. So it's freezing at night, Matt, and we've been opening the window. So it's fantastic to snuggle on down under the blanket. But in the morning, I am just not able to hop and go and get moving. And
so you've been having the window open recently?
Yeah.
While you sleep? Oh, my gosh.
For about a week. Yeah.
Okay. So why? I'm confused. Do you absorb a lot of heat from the neighbors or something, or?
I know that. Okay, so I started a new prescription, and I don't get cold during the day, or I don't get hot during the day. But at night I'm sweating a lot. But I want to stay under my blanket, and I want the room to be colder. So we crank down the furnace in the apartment, and you
open a window.
Yeah, we close our door, and we open. I mean, it's cracked. I mean, it's not like it's.
Oh, right.
I don't feel the breeze, but
yeah,
snow's not coming inside.
Gotcha. The curtains aren't blowing, right? Gotcha.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's prescription. I don't know if it's because I turned 40 that I'm sweating, but it wakes me up. So I've been trying to do the cooler, and the fan is on too.
Gotcha. I tell you what, it reminds me, and I've been reminded of this recently also since I bought that nice propane heater and had cold air coming into rooms at the same time, is when I lived in Manhattan. I lived in a kind of an older building. I was on the top floor of just like 3 floors, but it was a radiant heat, from radiators. And so would often be, fighting those, trying to get the right temperature. But it was pretty nice when those things were blaring and you had a window open. So you had that kind of cross section of cold/hot air. Yeah.
Yes.
Very vivid memory for me. So, but
very vivid.
Yeah.
Did you ever burn yourself on the radiator?
Oh, amazingly not. At least not that I recall. Who knows? I was pretty, I may have blacked that part out one night or something, but I don't recall. I was of an age. So but I don't recall being burned, and I'm fairly certain I would have remembered if there was some kind of, how did that get there kind of moment.
Gotcha.
So.